This is your Chargers linebacker, Daiyan Henley, and you're tuning in with Chargers Unleashed.
Welcome to another edition of Chargers Unleashed. Jake Hefner and Daiyan Wolkenstein here with you from the LAFB Network. If this is your first time tuning in the show, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube. And also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, and Apple Podcast. Good morning. Happy Saturday. It is Saturday morning mock draft 3.0 for Chargers Unleashed. And we finally get Daiyan Wolkenstein to be a part of an entirety of a mock draft. And thank God, because this is now dueling form, Dan. Sword fight. You and me. Let's go. Exactly. Let's build the tension. Turn up the drama. Daiyan Wolkenstein, it's good to have you back, sir, for a mock draft. Just a mere 6 days away from the NFL draft. Nice of you to show up.
It's been 1 week since you looked at me.
No, we're not there no more, Dan. We're not there. It's
We're here.
Thursday was 2 days ago. For anybody who doesn't,
1 week.
For anybody who doesn't know, Daiyan Wolkenstein has had nothing to eat prior to this mock draft, as have I. But Dan has got his caffeine.
Yeah.
According to him, before we just jumped on this show, he is the best that he has ever felt as far as his health goes over the last 2 weeks, as he's obviously been taking care of himself and the rest of his family. He is energized, ready to go. I'm hoping that actually ends up being to his disadvantage, that he's so overexcited that his mock draft just turns out to be absolute dog shit.
I'm going punter in round 3.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yes, Jake, again, thank you.
Ty Simpson at 22. There we go. Everybody's wondering where Ty Simpson's going. That's where it's happening.
No, but all seriousness, thank you, Jake, and thank you to everyone who has been patient with me. This year has been an absolute cluster for me. Not in any really bad way. It's just been, life has been lifing. And, but you're right. Today, miraculously, the sun is shining and we got sleep. Everyone's healthy. Work stuff's been good. Family stuff's great. Little one's sleeping. Life is good. And the Chargers are going to be drafting, in theory, in what, 6 days? Fired up. I'm ready to go.
Whichever way you want to look at it. Yeah, 6 days, 5 days, who cares?
This reminds me of back in college days. So not about you, Jake, but I was very irresponsible in many ways during my college days. One of which was I would take the whole semester. I knew I had a final coming. I knew I had it a month ahead of time. And I would take advantage of the entire month to do anything but study for the finals. And then maybe 3 days, 2 days, usually it'd be the night before. Cram the entire night, all-nighter, Red Bull, do your thing, crush it, go all the way up through the test, take the test, sleep for 12 hours, ace it, move on. That's how I feel right now going into this NFL draft. I've had 3 months to do NFL draft prep. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to let this thing ride as life figures itself out. And here we are.
Give me 5 hours. Give me 5 hours. I'm going to go through every fucking thing.
Yes, but this week I have like 5 days. So I'm chilling. So, Jake, I hope you came prepared because I am ready to roll on this dueling mock draft. And this should be some fun times for us.
I mean, I've had, to my advantage, I've had 2 mock drafts that I've gone through completely different as far as the outcomes go. One, there was no trades. It was trench warfare. That was the one that you showed up at the tail end of. The other one was very different. Ended up doing a trade back with Miami Dolphins at 30. That ended up being a much more plentiful draft if you look at it. But very different between the two. So I'm ready to go, Dan. I know you're just itching to get in here, but I have to ask you, because remember the genesis, and I ask of this for anybody in the chat, obviously, who's joining us for the first time on one of these mock drafts this year. Genesis of the name of Saturday morning mock draft comes from our beloved Saturday morning cartoons back in the day when we were kids. I have never got a chance to ask you this question yet, Dan.
Oh, this is perfect timing. Yes, go ahead.
What was the go-to that you'd always wake up Saturday mornings whether it was Fox Kids or Nickelodeon or whatever the hell it was at that point in time, what was the go-to?
Okay, full circle moment. You can't ask for this stuff. Yesterday, it was very important to me. I sat down with my daughter and I said, I need you to sit down and watch Scooby-Doo with me because you have never seen it. And this was like my childhood.
Are we talking like OG Scooby-Doo or are we talking like the newer Scooby-Doos? Okay.
When we were kids, this is what I used to watch. We go onto YouTube and I had to find like the 4-part YouTube of the first Scooby-Doo.
Well done.
My daughter's sitting next to me, loving it. Meanwhile, 3 days prior, I ordered a little Scooby-Doo plush doll for her and my son as like you guys can connect with this. Fast forward, after my daughter loves it, we go to like a food truck thing right by our house. They had this like insane, you would love this, Jake. They had this insane like Hot Wheels setup where they had all these crazy tracks with like batteries and everything with, they fly around and they had like 1 million cars. And the whole thing was kids would go up, you could buy a car, and then you could use your car to go use all these cool little tracks that they have set up for you. My daughter picks the Scooby-Doo mystery machine and all night rocking that thing.
All night.
She wanted to go back that thing like 10 times. So Scooby-Doo was on the list for sure. I was never really into like the Barney stuff. PB&J was like after my time. Mighty Mouse was there for a bit. I was about that for a while. Tom and Jerry.
Yeah.
The Wile E. Coyote, whatever that one was.
Looney Tunes,
all about it. And then the Sylvester the Cat and the Tweety Bird thing. Those were
all Looney Tunes.
Yeah, those were all my jams. So long-winded answer. Scooby-Doo was it. And now full circle, plush doll playing with the kids. Great.
Speaking of full circle, a Thier. That took, I don't know, a few weeks.
Wait, how do you remember what happened? When did we break up? What happened?
Remember, Athir said he was not tuning in anymore. He said he was done with the Chargers. He was totally rage-hating on GM Joe Ortiz. And
that's right.
I basically just ended it by saying, Athir, we'll see you at the beginning of the season. And hey, he proved me wrong. He showed up way earlier than expected. Dan and Jake, hello, brothers. I want to tell you I'm not going anywhere. Fuck no. I love my coach. I believe in my coach, and I still trust my coach. Good to have you back.
Athir's back, but according to other people, Athir hates Ortiz, and Athir is a Rams fan.
Well, I think the first one is true. I think we've heard that.
Okay,
we have plenty of audio clips from the past to reference that first one is true.
JLM 1893, Athir, you and Dan made up. Athir, in the chat, let me know. Have we made up? I didn't know we were fighting, but you let me know if we've made up, and we can continue on. Let's see. Matthew Dahl, I'm about to grab a Dutch Bros for a drink. Tell us in the chat what else you guys drinking. Jake has nothing. Jake is on empty, no caffeine, no food. Sleep? You had sleep?
I've had sleep. Not as much as I would have wanted for something like this, but it is an empty gas tank right now. So we'll see if that ends up being an advantage or a disadvantage for me as we go through this mock draft process. Also, as we normally do for the Saturday morning mock drafts, obviously we'll fire up the mock drafts, in this case, dueling mock drafts here in just a few minutes. But let's talk about it. Let's get some draft Q&A in there. What can we talk about? What do you guys want to banter about? Let's get the fireside chat going for NFL Draft 2026. Fire away any questions that you guys have about anything. Dan and I will do our best, obviously, to answer them. Somebody's drinking a Ghost energy drink. Love it, because that's usually my go-to in the morning. Now you just gotta hit me with what flavor. What flavor of the Ghost energy drink are you drinking?
Dude, I'd have a heart attack if I had that right now.
Well, Dan, my body you run on more caffeine than I do. Like, how many cups of coffee do you drink?
1.
I find that hard to believe in your circle.
1. I made purposefully because my heart would freaking go crazy if I kept drinking energy drinks. You guys are nuts.
Well, you got some other coffee drinkers in here.
There you go.
There's some black coffee.
Easy. Hey,
there you go. Some more black coffee.
See, now we're up right my alley. Here we go. Jake, before we get to the chimes. Nope, not yet. Not yet, Jake. Not yet.
Don't do a premature chime.
No. Premature evaluations are coming soon.
Evaluations.
Jake, before we get to the evaluations and the chimes, can we talk about our friends, Pay the Bills?
Yes. Today's episode of Chargers Unleashed is being brought to you by FanDuel. The betting does not stop for the NFL, even in the offseason. FanDuel gives you it's the second time I've done that. I always wanted to say like capacity, but that's not it. It's capability to stay in the action for the NFL futures. Right now, you can get the Los Angeles Chargers for plus 185 to win the AFC West and 1,500 to win the Super Bowl. So the value is there for anybody who is looking to ride with the Bolt fam this year. So if you're ready to do that, make sure to use the promo code ChargersLAFB for your chance to win at FanDuel and let them know that Chargers Unleashed sent you over at FanDuel.
Right on cue. Someone in the chat. Don't gamble, kids.
Yes. If I was good enough, like if I was one of those people who was like an auctioneer and I was good enough to do like the disclaimer that you always hear like on the radio whenever it's talking about, any type of betting platform, I would totally do it if I could speak that fast. It's funny. I was asking my wife the other day, imagine how do you go to a job interview to be an auctioneer?
It feels like
imagine that just for a second. Like Eminem, for example, probably would be a sick ass auctioneer.
No, but where would you go? Would it be in an office?
I don't know where. Yeah, somebody's
just show up at the front up on stage.
Just show up at the front door. Like, okay, let me see what you got. Very informal.
Just put on like a Busta Rhymes song with Eminem and have him see if he can do it.
Something like that, dude. Yeah, Busta Rhymes would be a great auctioneer for some shit like that. That's a perfect example, actually. But yeah, it's like, how do you type up your resume for something like that? Imagine if you've been like an auctioneer in like different states and what's your qualifications? It's 3,478 words per minute that I can speak.
You put really small font on the resume and you fill up the page and you can say, I can read all of this in 45 seconds.
That's right.
Ghost heart disease. That tracks.
Ghost heart disease.
Jake, this is a great intro, by the way. This is fun. We've done zero Chargers talk, and we are cruising.
That's what the main part of this mock draft is, my friend.
Athir's back with a response. Another $5 donation. Athir, thank you. Oh, wait. Hold on. I forgot. It's all caps. I do not hate my GM and Chargers fan, not Rams fan. But Ortiz is not in the same class with less seed. I think he meant less need. The best GM in LA is the Rams, not Chargers. So I can't tell if he's a Chargers fan.
Anyways. Lousy Bruin can't believe the draft is less than a week away, more low-key than others, or is it just me? I've heard so many people talking about this. I don't think that that's the case, but it's when you don't have as much power at the quarterback position the way that it is this year, because nobody knows where Ty Simpson's going to go. Obviously, it's the consensus that he's going to be the second quarterback off the board, but depending on where you actually see him. But when you don't have those lump of quarterbacks at the top that you've had in previous years, it kind of does take away just a little bit of the buzz. But in general, I think that this draft, and everybody has known this for a while, as far as like the handful of elite players that you have, it's exactly that. There's only a handful, and they're probably all going to be taken within the top 15. But I will say this as it relates
and there's no Shedeur Sanders this year.
Who's going to have the Mel Kiper crash out? Who is going to have the Mel Kiper crash out of 2026? We'll find out. But the interesting thing for the Chargers is that, that's not necessarily a problem that they have to worry about. It's deep in the positions that they need to select. So they're in a great position for days 1, 2, and 3, honestly.
There's a request here, Jake, for Chargers Unleashed ASMR. I think that was from my whisper. So if I talk like this, I crinkle my fingers or
do some weird stuff like that. Anyways, what position would be considered a left field selection in the first or the second round? Example, Emmanuel McNeil Warren in the first round. I will say this, and this goes into the wild card scenario that I have talked about over the last few mock drafts, because I've given them 4 scenarios, Dan, in case a refresher for everybody on this. 4 scenarios obviously is the dream scenario, the pipe dream scenario. The least likely scenario to happen is that somehow the snowball makes it through hell and Ioane falls to the Chargers at 22. Most likely doesn't happen. So scenario 1's out the door. The more realistic scenario is that the Chargers are going to target edge if they choose to stick and pick at 22. If not, the scenario that myself, Dan knows this for the last 10 years, and a lot of other people are saying, is that somehow or another, the Chargers are going to have to find a trade partner to move back. And personally, I don't care if it's out of the first round, if it's early second round, and just acquiring some extra draft capital to get from what you've traded away over the last couple of years, get more than 5 picks. As far as where that value may end up being, a lot better in terms of what the draft board will look like if they're able to pull that off. And then finally, Dan, answering the question that was presented here just a second ago, the wild card scenario, the exotic pick. So let's just say if they stick and pick at 22, and using the Warren example as he was using, I would probably say you're either looking at wide receiver or corner.
Or Sadiq?
I would actually say that Sadiq would make a hell of a lot of sense, though, because that would be telling me.
I agree.
And not just from the standpoint of position, it's from the standpoint of value.
Yep.
But if you were to go wide receiver, again, I don't expect Sadiq to last at 22 for context, but if you were to go wide receiver or corner, those would be the two positions that I would say would be considered the sleeper out of left field type of selection for them.
Maybe like an interior offense or interior defensive line. I could see.
The value has definitely gone down on IDL over the last, essentially since the combine, which has been crazy considering when you go back and you look at the projections, especially for guys like Peter Woods, who was projected to be in the top 10 as far as a pick this year. Yeah.
Are you ready, Jake?
No, Dan, we still got some time left to answer. Obviously, people are asking. Let's answer the questions.
Okay. By the way, Daniel Bridges said the trade back is the best option, but as Andy Jeremiah put it, takes two tango. This is the exact question that I brought up to Trevor, was like, yes, they're in a great position to trade back. I said, okay, but who are folks trading up for? That's the question. And it was a whole bunch of crickets. Maybe a tackle, maybe a receiver, maybe it's Simpson. But I don't know. No one talks about this, actually. Yeah, this is a good one.
Most realistic scenario I saw for us getting Vega is that he falls to 20 and we jump ahead of Pittsburgh, but I don't think that he gets past the Steelers. I agree. Personally, I don't think that he gets past Baltimore if he's there. I don't think that he gets past Detroit if he's there. And I don't think that he gets past Pittsburgh if he's there. So, once again, he's just that good. And there's so many teams.
Let's use this scenario, though. 5 picks. Would you do this? Would you trade up for it?
I mean, one spot? I mean, what's it costing you?
Let's say it cost 4th or 5th.
But again, you fall back into the same type of problem if you do it. I just don't think that you can do something like that. I don't expect any type of trade up scenario to happen for the Chargers whatsoever. I know Ortiz has obviously done that the past 2 years, but not this year. Not with the lack of capital. Absolutely not. The interesting part about all of this was that if you guys got a chance to read the Buzz article from ESPN the other day, Matt Miller was reporting that he was hearing from a scout that was saying potentially 10 offensive linemen could go off the board in the first 32 picks. And he broke it down: 8 tackles and 2 guards. And the 2 guards were Ioane and Chase Besantis. So it's going to be a run on offensive linemen, essentially, in the first round. But it's tackle heavy. It's tackle heavy. And then we come back to that conundrum that we were talking about with Trevor on the show previously is, if you're at 22, Ioane's off the board, do you go ahead and pick Chase Besantis?
If you're sticking
just to secure Chase Besantis, if you can't find a trade partner, it's an interesting issue to think about. Joe Ortiz's presser was very revealing. He's not ever going to go on a shopping spree. He's very aware of protecting his comp picks. He will not allow the Chargers to be cap broke ever again. Yeah, so when we get to free agent frenzy next year,
I don't know if it's revealing.
We should all know that. Basically, Chargers free agency will just be like I don't know what you'd rename it, but you'll never use the term free agent frenzy essentially
Like
with Joe
Nordstrom,
Ortiz.
it's like shopping at Nordstrom Rack.
Yeah. Call it
You're not
that.
shopping at Nordstrom. You're not shopping at like Marshalls, but it's like right.
And again, I'm not trying to make a comparison here to Coupon Tom back in the day, because I think at least the moves that he's done have been a little bit better for that, and obviously he's got more balls to actually pull off in-season trades. But yeah, free agent frenzy. That's not that won't be a term that we will be using anytime soon as it relates to Joe Ortiz.
Yeah, so I will say and we'll get to the dueling mock here in a second, but I think the conundrum that I think will happen is between 22 and 55, and I'll probably get more specific, and probably between like 35 and 45. I think you're going to see 2 to 3 guards selected in that range. And so at 22 and at 55, you are ahead of the run at 22. You are behind the run at 55. So what do? Talk about a Trevor. 3 options. 1, pray. Not a good idea. 2, hope that someone falls. Or 3, hope that you can go ahead. Actually, I hope. Force your hand. Overreach. But for the sake of just making sure you get it. If you had to choose one of those 3 scenarios, one of those 3 doors, Jake, pray, reach. Actually, I'll just use those 2. Which would you do?
How many Hail Marys do you want?
4.
Perfect. I'm doing 4 Hail Marys then.
It's okay. So you would.
No,
I'm
kidding.
No, but generally speaking, would you? Like, I know because usually it's all about positional value, right? Like, would you hold true and just like roll the dice that some guard will be available in the 3rd round? Like that's a.
It's a ballsy move. It's balls because we talked about it, and we'll try to get it out before the draft happens. Obviously, as it relates to our top 10 list, we've only gotten through the edge. The next was going to be the top 8 interior offensive linemen for the Chargers, and it's purposely made that way. There will be no honorable mentions in that list. It is only 8 because the Chargers should only be considering 8 players like this because they're considerations beyond the guard options that look past round 3 should never be in consideration for them. Again, it has to be premium capital for both edge and offensive linemen. You have to find a way to do it. And if that means to some people that would be considered a reach, that if you were to stick and pick at 22 and that was your target, fine. If it meant the same type of thing at like 55 that you were to take that strategy, fine. Just you have to come out of round 2. I don't care which selection it is, whether it's 22, whether it's a trade down, whether it's at 55. You have to come out of round 2
with a guard
with that position solidified, in my opinion.
So the hopium in me says round 3. But again, I think if you don't do in round 1 or 2, you are sweating in round 3.
TD 4637 is a Jalen Farmer interest? Yes. Is there interest in Jalen Farmer? Look, I actually have Jalen Farmer. He's not 8. I'll tell you that much right now. He's a little bit higher than that because if we're tailoring this to what Mike McDaniel has been looking for his offensive lineman, he's got the athletic chops that you want to have someone plugged into there. Go ahead.
He says, low-key hope we are not picking day 1. Honestly,
this would be one of those rare occasions that I would not even care. If it meant that the Chargers were trading back to get extra draft capital and they were picking at the very top of day 2, fine by me. Yep. Because the way that the board should look in terms of this argument that we were just having a second ago, it would match up a hell of a lot better in terms of filling those needs for you.
Question came in. Did you see what Matt Money was talking with Lowe, saying he would trade the Giants to give him 22 and 55 for the 37 and get Dexter Lawrence? What's your thoughts? That should be fair. Well, Dexter Lawrence will be better than anybody you get at 22. Period. Especially this year in a year to win now mode. So that part I'm in. Trading up so you can get to their 37. I don't know if I would want to trade away more picks though. I think I would want to keep the same amount of picks and try if you can get like trade 22 and 55, get there 37 and whatever they are, 80, 70, whatever, or even a third round. Doesn't matter.
I don't hate this idea, but again, let's just say you do it. And so you say to yourself, okay, so we get pick 37 to take, the best offensive guard that's out there or the best edge player that's out there. And now you have to wait essentially until round 3 to do your next move. Is that possibly the best strategy though, given what you need for both positions in the short term and the long term? I'm just not so sure. Again, we're talking about limited draft capital here. I just don't see a world where the Chargers end up making this type of a move and losing an additional pick when they have so few.
I can see them doing like a 1-for-1, but I can't see them giving away additional assets. I could see 22 for Dexter Lawrence. I could see that.
Mm-hmm. On Bo Stevens in the 3rd or the 4th, love Iowa trench players. Yeah, I'm much higher on Bo Stevens than what the mock draft board is going to project and what some people have as far as their boards are going to go. I would love Bo Stevens in this system, honestly. You talk about someone who, the best quote from him, Dan, is when he was talking about how do you approach the run game. And he said, it's a high that you can't buy.
Gotta put that on
he just has that attitude that you're going to just want to put in there as an ass kicker for the offensive line, for sure.
And on Derry, teams with draft capital that can trade up for offensive tackle: Cleveland, Miami, New England. Then Houston can trade up for edge or D tackle. Lastly, if the Jets draft Simpson at 16, they may trade up from 30 for wide receiver. Man, he is in it. Good for you.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I don't care who we draft. Who we trade with. Who they trade with. I'm not a part of the team. Yeah, please. Let's just make it happen. Let's get crazy. Jake, are you ready? Again, we can continue to answer some of these questions as we go through. So this is like cutting off. I got my caffeine. I got great vibes on my side.
Real quick before we start, Dan, this is just dropping from Jeremy Fowler on Twitter. I think it's just
breaking news.
It's not breaking news, but I think it's pertinent to the conversation that we've been having here over the last few minutes. The belief in league circles is that Arizona at 3, Tennessee at 4 are both looking to move back. Many are watching Dallas 12 and 20 closely due to their obvious defensive needs. Cowboys not overly active on the phones yet. Open-minded about potential move, also comfortable staying put. The reports that have been coming out this week in terms of look out for the amount of trades in round 1 has been slowly building and building and building. And now when you're talking about reports that Arizona at 3 and Tennessee at 4, when everything about them has been going to Jeremiah Love, if that's just the tip of the iceberg as far as where the trade moves are going to be going, there's been a lot of people saying that everybody's looking to trade back instead of trade up, which is not necessarily advantageous for the Chargers. But it just gives you an idea as far as some of the movement that's going to be going on for the NFL draft next Thursday. Okay, I'm going to share my screen here. We're going to fire up the mock draft machine while I'm doing so because I'm not the technical person out of the two of us. Dan's going to continue to answer questions while I'm getting my shit together. So go for it.
Okay. Jake, there was a comment in here earlier that I think will bode true. I can absolutely see this Chargers, because someone in the chat was asking, or it was saying basically, they don't see the Chargers drafting a guard. They can see them drafting a tackle with tackle guard flexibility, which I kind of agree with. So looking at like a Jennings Dunker, like a Caden Proctor, like that kind of player. Yeah, I can see it. They always value positional flexibility. So I'm kind of with that. I can see it for sure, especially if they're there at the position or at the point that they're drafting and it's not a reach. Totally.
All right, Dan, since you have not been present for the last 2 mock drafts,
yep,
the honor is going to be yours. You're going to go first. I have tailored
no trades, right?
Dan, this is mock draft 3.0. I executed a trade last week. So It's basically like take the gloves off and go to work here. But I'll tell you this. Dan did not know this part. The caveat of today, you cannot select a same player that I pick.
In previous drafts or today?
In anything today.
Okay, that's fine.
What am I going to do? Yeah, have you reference mock draft 1.0? Oh, you can't take him. I took him 6 weeks ago.
Okay, so we can't take any duplicate players today. Got it.
No duplicate players.
Okay.
So, all right, this first one's going to be yours, Dan.
Okay, so start the draft. Let's see.
Just making sure everything as far as the settings is still.
Do I have where are my trade options?
Well, you're going to see them here, and you're going to see them here in a second.
Okay.
Okay. So your trade options that you currently have on the board right now: Jacksonville at 56 and Washington at 71. Boy, did you get the shit into the stick. So you may not have a choice here, sir.
What's the trade options I'm getting from Jacksonville 55?
Well, hang on a second. Just now let's look at who's on the board. Now that you know who's there to trade with. So Warren. So here comes the wild card scenario.
Yep.
Avian Terrell. Here's the other wild card type of scenario we were talking about. A cornerback from Clemson. You go wide receiver Amari Cooper. Now you start thinking like, okay, if I was to move back, but you could remember this is free range. So if you wanted to try to force a trade, Dan, I'm not going to hold that against you because I forced a trade with the Miami Dolphins 2 weeks ago.
This guy. And Charge fans would be pissed. So want to go to 20.
If this is the way that the board fell to them on Thursday, everybody would be, I think, clutching their pearls for the better part of 8 minutes waiting for the announcement.
Yeah. If it was this, I would imagine I could see them going Cassius Howell for sure. McNeil Warren's probably BPA on the board. I don't think they go Cooper.
Again, your trade options here.
Yep.
Honestly, were shit. I'll be perfectly honest with you. They were shit.
Yeah.
You drop the Jacksonville all the way to 56? Or do you drop to Washington
what do you
all
get,
the way to 71?
But what do you get back for the Jacksonville trade?
I mean, we would have to work the draft pick value chart, obviously, for that. But it would be pretty significant. It would be a pretty significant haul with either one of those if you were to drop that far.
That's kind of what I'm getting at. Like right now, again, I don't need to get out. I don't need to be the first round.
Yeah, if you wanted to get a treasure trove of selections back, you could. Just for an example. So if we were to use Jacksonville as the example here, pulling up the draft pick value chart. So currently 22 is valued at 780 points. Where Jacksonville is at is 340. That's a lot to make up. So you'd be getting there. You'd be getting 56. You'd definitely be getting 88. I'm trying to see where their other ones are. They have 100 that's valued at 100 points, but that's also a round 3 pick.
So you're probably getting 3 additional picks.
Yeah. 124, which is netted at 48 points. You're probably, I'll be honest with you, you're probably even getting some 2027 draft capital in here.
Honestly, as much as I think, I genuinely think that Ortiz might consider this. Because again, if you can stack up a bunch of picks in rounds 2 and 3, I think that's a good idea.
I mean, hey, I don't want to be a hypocrite of myself because I'm all about executing a trade.
But 55 is a little bit further down round 2.
But let's keep it in the area code, can we? Yeah.
I'll stick to normal. So I'll stick and pick because I think it's too low.
Stick and pick. Okay, so
I'm not going to force anything.
Okay.
So give me guards, give me tackles. What do you got?
Obviously, you're going to be kind of put in the scenario that you were talking about in terms of, do you, is it a reach? Do you go ahead and take that pick?
This would be a reach here.
But would it, in the big picture of things, especially for a guy like Basantis, for a guy who's projected to be taken as of right now towards the end of the first round, we're talking a difference now of maybe 6 to 8 picks. Because if you grab him now, you're for sure to secure him. You don't have to worry about that position falling to you again at 55.
Totally. So I think it kind of feels like, how much health do these front office folks within LA want to obtain in nights 1 and 2? because while it might be a quote unquote reach, you know how happily everyone in Chargers land is sleeping, knowing that they got the guard.
Yep.
Maybe they reached. Who gives a shit? They got their guard. They can go to sleep, smile on their face. Alternatively, they kick that can down the road. They are stressed. So go to tackle for a second.
I was going to go to edge so you could see the full gamut here.
Okay, go to tackle real fast, just so I can see.
You want tackle? I'm not taking any of those three over the option for Bisontis. No, you don't. Everybody. There is two. I'll say this for context. There's two tackles in this draft that are considered tackles that I would be open to the idea of drafting them and plugging them in as guards.
Mm-hmm.
One is Spencer Fano, but he ain't getting to 22.
Nope.
The other one is Casey, which would be in much later rounds than this.
Yeah, I would probably like, what about Dunker?
Yeah, Dunker's the other one. Sorry, apologies. 3.
Yeah.
Okay, let me take you to edge so that you see the full gamut here. So on the board now, you got Cassius Howell, T.J. Parker, Zion Young, which
I like.
Zion Young was selected in the PFF guys mock draft, their 7-round mock draft for every single team that they did for charity earlier this week.
I like Cassius Howell. I think I like Zion Young, honestly, because I think he'd be like a perfect swap heir apparent to Khalil Mack. He plays just like him.
You're kind of in a similar scenario, Dan, here as far as value goes, in like realistic value. TJ Parker's value is kind of taking a hit a little bit, but everybody still projects him to go towards the back end of the first round. And same thing with Bisontis. His stock has kind of risen here over the last few weeks and is expected to be taken at the end of the first round. So
is Mesidor gone?
Mesidor's gone. For you, let's see where Mesidor went to Tampa Bay, which is a popular spot. I've seen him mocked, actually.
I think I'm gonna go Cassius Howell here. I think that connects a need and value. I'm really high on Cassius Howell. And then I think I'm just gonna kick this can, but at 55, I'm picking one. At 55, I'm picking an interior offensive line.
For context, when we were talking about our top 10 edge rushers last week, because this is a full circle moment for anybody wondering what is Dan doing. When I was going through, and if I remember correctly, I had TJ Parker as my number 5 edge rusher in the class.
Whatever it was, higher than me.
Dan was not as high on TJ Parker. And when I posed him the question if it was TJ Parker or Chase Bisontis at 22, he said unequivocally that he would be taking Chase Bisontis there.
Yep.
So, Cassius Howell, final answer. That is going to be your number 1 pick.
Put it in the card.
It's going in.
Yeah, and again,
if you can hear Salem in the background right now, she doesn't like that pick.
I'm freaking out going to bed tonight with this one, for sure. But I got positional value. I got a great player, 2-way edge defender that can help this Chargers team for years to come. Like that.
We'll see if Dan can execute a trade back at 55 to better his situation. Okay.
To go to your tab.
My situation. Sorry. Is it not up?
It's showing mine at 55.
Why is it only doing that? Oh, so it can't necessarily switch between tabs. I have to manually switch between screens now.
No, you should be able to just share your full screen.
Hang on a second here. This is why Dan normally
handles difficulties. We're moving.
Okay, hang on a second.
When you share your entire screen, you should just be able to share tab by tab. You got it. Present, share screen.
I see it. Got it.
Entire
there
screen.
It is. Fuck me in the beard.
Wow. Okay, that's a little descriptive. Hey.
Okay, so my draft board actually didn't end up being that much better, with the exception of Keldrick Falk being in this position. You look at some of the people that just went. Keem Mesidor goes to Carolina at 19. Just missed out on him. That would have been my slam dunk pick. Obviously, The Jets going Ioane at 16 is an interesting one, but nonetheless, the board fell pretty damn similar to what Dan got. Now let's see what my trade options are.
Oh, look at you. And it's with the Giants.
For God's sakes, who the hell would they be coming up to trade for at 22, honestly? Remember, they don't have that many picks either. So I'm not even sure if this is a fair thing for me to do, because this sounds very unrealistic for them to trade additional draft capital with the fact that they only have 6 picks in this draft as opposed to the Chargers 5. And I doubt that they would give up another one, really. But they built the Super Bowl team around their draft class of only 4 picks following the Eli Manning and Phillip Rivers trade. So they've done more with less in previous history. So maybe, just maybe, let's see. If I looked at the board here and I go back to, let's see if I go back to just 37, just to humor me. Because again, my favorite scenario for this is trading down. Looking at 37, that's 530 points to the Chargers 780, which means you're looking at a difference of 250 points. And for them, if I'm looking at, let's see, where is it? 145 is not going to do it. Let's see what 105 is. 84 is not going to do it. No, you're probably having to go additional 2027 draft capital here to make up that. I'm not sure if I would do it in that circumstance, Dan, because that doesn't really help me now. Does it help me in 2027? Yes. But it doesn't help me now. I would like the way that my board fell a hell of a lot better, wouldn't I? You know what? All right, so you and I are going to be in a pretty similar scenario here, because the other option that I got to pick was the Indianapolis Colts at pick 47, who also have, they have 7 picks. But I think that I'm probably going...
I also just realized that I selected Cassius Howell, but the notes that I had on him, in my head, I'm talking about Zion Young. Zion Young was a two-way guy that I wanted, 6'5". So take that as you will.
Are you basically saying that you fucked up the mock draft with your first round pick?
Yes, that's okay.
And my hunch of you being overhopped on the caffeine actually
you were right.
True.
You were right.
Damn.
Right.
So everybody just has to scratch out your pick of Cassius Howell and mentally replace it with Zion Young. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Or we could just cross off and go back to do it again, but whatever.
You know what? Because Zion Young's still going to be on the board.
He'll be there.
So let me just do this for Dan's sake, having to basically just go back and unfuck everything that we did.
Yeah, and we're gonna have to scroll through this stuff now.
Congratulations, Wolkenstein. Good God.
Just the Chargers, not the Rams.
Yep, I'm just making sure that everything else looks good.
You did the Rams.
Motherfucker. See, Dan?
There's so much expletives in this today, Jake.
I don't care. I'm on an empty stomach. I have no caffeine, and it's mock draft 3.0.
While you're doing that, someone said it's okay. So let's go talk QJ with Tony Jefferson.
That one's actually good.
Not Justin Jefferson.
I love that, actually. That one's actually good. Okay, so for the sake of me being fair and getting Dan the player that he wanted to select in the first place,
Zion Young.
Let's keep it fair.
Like that.
There. Yeah. Now Dan gets his guy that he meant to do 10 minutes ago. Okay. For mine, I'm going to go, obviously I can't select Zion Young. So do I play the risk game of waiting to 55 to get my guard, or do I go edge in this circumstance? You know what? I'm going to do the opposite here. I'm actually going to do the scenario that a lot of people have talked about. And I'm going,
just do it.
I'm going Basantis here. If the Chargers
people can talk all they want about a reach. You get your. That's what matters. All right, so
we both got the shit into the stick on the trade back scenarios. Let's see if we can make something happen at 55.
Now this is where I'm praying. Ooh, see, Tyson's is there, so someone could actually trade.
Sorry, this one is yours. Dan.
damn
This
it,
one's
he's not
yours.
there.
Sorry for you.
Are you sure?
Yep.
Go to 22.
Good God, man.
Just scroll up on the left. Scroll up.
Your picks. Zion Young. There you are.
All right, go to guard. Just right to guard.
Right to guard. Don't even waste any time.
So Rutledge is there, and then go to tackle.
You should know exactly what you should be doing.
I know. Go to tackle real quick. Just go to tackle.
There's your guards and your tackles that are on the board.
Okay, go up.
So is it Dunker or is it Rutledge for you?
I was gonna say I kind of like.
I mean,
Dunker Rutledge. Dunker Rutledge. Dunker Rutledge. Dunker gives you that flexibility. Oh, this is tough. What would you do? Not that it matters to me, but what would you do?
I have Rutledge higher on my board than I do Dunker.
Oh, man. Jennings Dunker, just like he's good against the run. Or good at the run.
I'll tell you this, it's not a bad selection if you choose to go with it, because I understand your reasonings why.
Man. No, you know what? I'm going to stick with it. I think Caleb Rutledge probably fits pretty darn well. I mean, he's in the blue in terms of grades for run block, pass block, zone, gap, shoot pass set. I mean, yeah, Rutledge sent it in. And the whole world rejoices. The Chargers have got an edge in a guard in rounds 1 and 2.
And I like how you stuck to your guns. You said, fuck it, I am going just the 5 picks on this one. I'm not looking to execute a trade down whatsoever.
Yep.
Me, on the other hand, let's see what I got. Tennessee, you know what? I might just keep it fair, Dan, to make all things equal. Now the fact that you didn't make a trade back, let's see what I got to end up here at 55. So I went Basantis. Obviously, I can't. I went Basantis in the first round. So who are my edge options? Ooh.
I like Derek Moore.
So do I. And he would probably be the option that one of the top options that I go here if it ends up sticking and picking at 55.
You know the staff would like him too.
Yep. Let's see. I really don't think that there's many other ways that I would look to go here. Grayson Holden at 17 obviously is enticing for him, but not with just the positional value, the way that the edge class has fallen thus far. And same thing with corner. Like, I'm enticed by both the interior defensive line and corner, but just there has obviously been a run on edge up until this point. Yep. And I'd probably have to grab the one that I'm really wanting right about now. So in this case, I'm going Derek Moore.
Yeah, I don't blame you. All right, so I got guard and I got edge secured in rounds 1 and 2. So now I'm looking BPA. I'm looking maybe a offensive weapon for Mike McDonald. Wow. Mike McDaniel. All right, let's see here, Jake. Let's look at go to tight end for a sec.
Roush, Trigg, Jolly, who the Chargers had just reported on that they had met virtually. They confirmed that.
Doing that.
Yep.
Good receiver.
Let me take out tight end for you. There you go. That's a little bit more interesting. Ted Hurst, who is a big riser right now. Brendan Thompson, who we've talked about ad nauseum on this show as far as just being that speed guy that if McDaniel's looking for,
I like Brendan Thompson.
Fits the bill.
Malachi Fields. So Malachi Fields was the guy that I was saying would be like a Mike Williams replacement. Like, he's the go up and get it, big body, perimeter dude, great hands, 50-50 go getter. Like, that's him all day. When did Zachariah Branch go? Is he gone?
He is gone. And for those who are asking in the chat, believe that Delp is gone. Let me just double check here for anybody who's really interested in that. Yes, Delp. Oh no. Okay, well let's be realistic here.
He's not good.
This ranking for Delp is dog shit. So realistically, he's probably gone by now. So going off of this type of board, we're going to act like he's not available for the Chargers to pick here in round 3.
So they got Keaton Mitchell, so they got the speed piece in free agency, although they don't have it at the receiver position. They have a Lad McConkey. Do you trust Quentin to be that perimeter guy? He did a lot better last year, but like, is that really him? Right? You got Tre Harris, who's on the come up. Like Malachi Fields is enticing. All right, I'll go to BPA. Devin Moore.
Corner's a sneaky need for this Chargers team this year.
Yeah. That's gonna be the last one. Go to interior defensive line. Because if they don't do Dexter Lawrence, I could totally see them going interior defensive line. Imagine going Zion Young and DL. I just think they're going to go offensive heavy. I really do. Let's see. Brennan Thompson is enticing, man. Do you think this is a reach for him? It feels early.
I think that he's going to go earlier than what this ranking is, but I think that the third round is probably like where you could start having that conversation.
Because in my opinion, I'm thinking like, all right, they can go one of two ways. They can either go like the Malachi Fields way and get like the Mike Williams, like the 50-50 guy, or they can get the Brennan Thompson and just like go all in Mike McDaniel mode. And so like, to me, I'm thinking, okay, if this was the Chargers, this would be Mike McDaniel, the head coach of the offense. Like this would give him his guy. They're getting a weapon for the Chargers offense. It might be Brennan Thompson.
As opposed to Ted Hurst.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Maybe. I'm not high on Ted Hurst, to be honest. Is Stribling there? Or Cyrus Allen? Stribling's there.
Stribling's there.
Cyrus Allen's there too. Okay, give me the interior No.
I have to remember that when you watch wide receivers, you go to the back end of watching them. Not watching them from the top down. You watch them backwards.
Yep. Damn. All right. Go back to BPA again. I'm taking too long.
They would have taken your pick away by now.
I know. It's been 8 minutes. Go ahead and click the X. How tall is Devin Moore? I forget.
He's pretty big. He's pretty big, Dan. He's pretty big, Dan.
Put him in. Done. I think I can get him.
What a arc that Dan Wolkenstein just went to, from the size of Brennan Thompson to the size of Moore to end up making that selection. Okay, I'll jump to mine here. Again, no trade options on the board for me at 86. Wouldn't do that anyways, trying to keep everything fair. So for me, let's see. Moore is there, but since Dan just selected him, I cannot, due to the rules of this dueling mock draft. Dalen Everett is there, who was another enticing option if I was to go corner. Let's see what the wide receiver sees. I basically kind of got the same exact thing that Dan got as far as the wide receiver options. Mm-hmm. And I do like Hurst, honestly.
Look, Daniel Bridges, excuse me. I fall in love with you and beat potato guys. I took away my love for receivers on that pick. You should be proud of me. Come on now.
He was almost there. Dan almost fucked
I
up.
almost fell for it. I almost fell for it.
Okay, so the board fell very, very similar to
Daniel Bridges. This board
pretty
sucks.
much what Dan got. Let me single out corner here because I can't pick more based on the rules. Everett it's between Everett and Hurst to me right now.
Is Dunker there? There's no way. Dunker's gone, right?
No, he should be gone. Besides, I already took my card.
Just curious, though.
For Hanans, yes, I will show the offensive tackle. This is what you're dealing with right now.
Okay, yeah, you're not doing that.
No.
All right.
So let me just take a look at this just from the standpoint to say, like, okay, who could... Okay. I'm going to go same position that Dan went, but not the same player, obviously, due to the rules of this game. Well, actually, hang on a second here. You know what? Fuck it. No, I'm going to go the opposite. Last minute curveball.
Ooh.
And I'm doing it. Ted Hurst.
I was thinking you were going Ramsey, honestly. Dang. All right. So here's mine. Here we go. I feel pretty good about mine so far.
Here is your board currently right now, Dan.
All right. Go to receiver. Oh, Cyrus. Have you seen him?
Who are you talking about?
Cyrus Allen.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like him?
I know you love him.
Do you like him?
Again, is he in like my top echelon of wide receivers? No, but if we're talking about this type of territory, beginning of day 3, yeah, he's probably going to be one of the top options that's available.
Is one of Coleman, Thompson, or Stribling there? Let's say here. You're good. Receiver.
I think Stribling's still here.
Coleman is there.
Coleman's here, which I know you're big on Coleman.
So Stribling's there too?
Maybe Stribling actually went off the board. Yep, he went to the Jets at 103.
Okay. Kevin Coleman would be fun, dude.
I know where I would go on this pick if this was presented to me.
Caleb Douglas too. Where would you go? Well,
I'd go Lane if it were me. I would go Lane.
Would you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go to BPA for a sec.
If you're going a different direction, if you're going interior defensive line, 100% right here.
Yes, that's kind of what I'm thinking. I haven't gone interior defensive line yet, right?
Nope.
I think this might be what I do.
Address the trenches once again.
Yeah. Is there an interior defensive line before this? Or higher than this? See the next one.
He's probably the top option right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going BPA. Yep.
Let's do it.
That's a good selection, honestly. That's a great selection. And it actually kind of pisses me off because now I can't select him.
The receivers that were left, I think we can look for later, honestly.
Okay. So because I passed on corner, my last pick, I ended up going with Ted Hurst in the 3rd round for my selection. Now we're at the top end, round 4. I can't take McClellan based off of the rules for this. Dan and I cannot select the same players. Takario Davis there is definitely what stands out to me as far as this BPA BPA board that we're having right now. Let's see if I was just go interior and it wasn't McKellen, Keenan, Capehart. Capehart there is enticing, but I think that I could wait on that one. Yeah, I think that actually let me see linebackers because I think that that's I don't know. Oh, sorry. Let me take out interior defensive line here. Linebacker is a sneaky position for the Chargers, Dan. It's a sneaky position for them to get someone, and especially if we're looking toward at day 3, I think it would actually be a great spot for you to get them at. And again, because it would have been much more of a priority if you did not end up bringing Denzel Perryman back, but you did. But there are plenty of guys who, if we're looking at when Perriman's time is done, who replaces what he does. Torian York is one of those players. 100%, he's one of those type of players. But the fact that Perriman is there, and that is actually a pretty nice, well-rounded linebacker group as it currently stands. Do I go Davis or do I go Kilgore here? I forget the size comparisons between these two. Let me just see. God, I know these two dudes are just absolute freaking monsters. Yeah. Takario Davis.
They're going the same archetype that I went with. Just different round.
All right, Dan, last selection for you. Again, no trade backs were committed in this one because honestly, we got the shit out into the stick as it relates to the options. And based on how the board fell to us in the respective rounds of 22 and 55, basically had to pull the trigger and make those type of moves when we had to make them. So, Dan, this is pick number 5 for you, your last selection of Mock Draft 3.0.
Go receiver. I got him in my.
I was going to say, like,
this is
where against all your better judgment, you have waited until your final pick to take a wide receiver.
I do like Kendrick Law. Have you seen him yet?
I have seen Kendrick Law, and for some people that are asking in the chat, people were asking what Dan's draft haul looks like thus far. It's Zion Young at 22, Kalen Rutledge at 55, Devin Moore at 86, Chris McKellen at 123.
Kendrick Law is fun, dude. Kendrick Law is fun. Who else is there? Is Caldwell there? The Cincy kid?
Doesn't look like it.
I don't think so.
That might be your selection, Dan.
Dang. Is Douglas there?
I think Douglas has been gone.
Ugh. Yeah, I think I might go Law.
Okay.
This will be fun, dude. He's versatile. Special teams dude that could definitely take the place of Darius Davis in theory. He's kind of a gadget kind of guy. He can kind of jack of all trades. I think this might be him. I'm feeling good about this draft. All these considered, I ended with him. Like, yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. Woo!
Okay.
Fire me up. This is great.
So mine on the opposite end has been Chase Basantis at 22, Derek Moore at 55. I definitely had a run on edge players in between 22 and 55. Ted Hurst at 86, Takario Davis at 123. Again, sticking to our rules here.
Daniel Bridges, while you're looking. Hey, Dan, you're great at picking receivers, by the way, but you would choose the wrong ones for our old regime all the time. 100%. Yes, I agree. When I was doing draft selections before, I would always go who I would pick, not who they would pick. And it pissed me off because my archetype was always different than theirs. But now, I said this before months ago when I got Mike Daniel, I'm like, oh, finally, my archetype is in play. My archetype is in play. This would be that kind.
Yeah, interior defensive line was not nice to me. Edge was not nice to me in this class. Let's see. Where is, God, if I can figure out where the hell I'm going here. Again, Delp is not even a consideration here because he has gone long before this. I still don't understand why that has not been adjusted yet.
It's because the whole freaking organization's gone. So they're like, who's going to change?
Let's just
update this.
Leave
it.
No,
I feel good about mine.
It's not. I'll give it to you, Dan. It's not too bad, all things considered.
Considering who took the picks, yep.
Or is it Perkins? Or is it Perkins? Exactly.
All right, here we go. And the selection is everyone, Charge Unleashed fandom, all at once. Say it with me now.
What are they supposed to say with you, Dan?
They're supposed to scream.
Oh, scream. Exactly. Yeah, that's kind of what they would be doing in this particular scenario. I'd give them that much. Damn.
So, definitely not gonna lie, we look like dog crap.
That's what this board looks like right now. Okay. Yeah, as I was talking about, Dan, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna finish this off here with a position that I feel like is a sneaky good draft class, and obviously one thing for the Chargers to definitely consider selecting. This would definitely be one for the future for sure. I'm gonna go Murdoch here to round out.
Yeah, going linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
Can't hate it. Red Murdoch is interesting. He's a tackle machine and would probably be great on special teams. Yep. Ficken will love him.
All right, so here is Dan's draft.
Yeah, Steve, they would shit on my Zion Young pick because just the way they had their position of the way he was valued, they had him in the 40s, I think. But I'll take this. Yeah, screenshot this puppy.
Did a pretty good job from rounds haul. 3 down. Not too bad.
I'll take that haul for sure. I'm taking a screenshot of this before you. No, go back. Dude, stop moving. There you go. Okay, go ahead. Do whatever you want now.
Good God.
Yeah. Dude, if this is how they got back, same with yours. Again, I think 22 people be like, reach, but then by the time you get through this, you're like, dang. Like, who cares if it's a reach if you got your guy? Like,
I think you ended up having the board fall to you a little bit better than I did, for sure. But again, here's the conundrum that the Chargers...
Don't give me that excuse. We have the exact same thing.
I'm not saying it's unfair. I'm not saying that your draft is better than mine for those reasons. What I'm saying here is to prove the conundrum of this is where the Chargers find themselves in the issue on. If you look at the difference between Dan and I, who traded between edge and guard, I think Dan got a little bit better value out of his, to be perfectly honest, if you're weighing the value at both positions.
Yeah. I mean, I went stress. I went sleep at night, round 1, really, really scared. But
right.
I woke up, I was like, you know what, screw it.
Or if we, in my case, going with a very popular pick in Chase Besantis, but doing so at 22, what does it do for you at 55 if you're not able to trade back for more capital? In my case, there was a huge run on edge rushers, and I was left with Derek Moore, who I just had outside my top 10, by the way.
I like Derek Moore, too.
He was honorable mention number 11.
Yeah.
But you just kind of see the conundrum that the Chargers are going to find themselves in, whether or not they end up picking guard or edge at 22. And again, this leads me back full circle here, Dan. Somebody, good God, for 8 minutes, think about calling the Chargers for a trade back for the love of Christ.
Give me Ty Simpson available for us, please, somehow.
Yes.
No, this is fun. Jake, this is great. I appreciate us doing this. Take screenshots. We'll put this up on the handle, see what folks think. All things considered, if we stuck and picked, this is how I'd be okay with this. I'd be okay. Again, like if ideally you take a trade down. If you can't do it and you come out of this with either one of these hauls, I think the Chargers fans are happy overall. Like, you can say what you will about where you picked them, how you picked them. You got the guys, you got the positions that you needed. And the most important one, in both of these, you got good dudes. So, well done, Jake. Jake, I get to be at your house in like 5 days.
It's going to be
anarchy. And then 6 days, and then 7 days, which would be great.
It's going to be anarchy.
It's going to be anarchy. I hope,
especially day 2.
I was going to say we're going to have some videos that can top last year, the year before. So stay tuned for that. We'll have some fun content coming out for you guys as it relates to the draft live as well. So stay tuned for that. Jake, anything else for the great friends?
Saturday morning mock 3.0. It might end up being our last mock before the NFL draft next Thursday. But again, thank you so much for you guys tuning in on your Saturday. It's great to see as many people that have come in here. It always makes it a hell of a lot more fun when we can do these type of situations live, because we get your feedback as well. We get an idea as far as who it is that you guys are in favor of the Chargers taking at certain positions. So again, we are mere days. It is no longer double digits. It is single digits now until the NFL draft. That's my heart rate going whenever he drops the chimes, for sure. Gives me the goosebumps. Yeah, damn. Days away, NFL draft. We still got plenty to talk about between now and then. The hype is real. Let's get ready to go. Chargers Unleashed. Thank you so much for tuning in. See you later.
See you later.